get started here. Rye will join us late.
Okay.
I think last time you guys were going to sell all your magic items and take all the money to bet it at the slot bag.
It's a surefire plan. We're gonna double our money, guys.
Now, maybe triple.
I think last time we decided we were going to knock off slot bag. That's what I remember. Let's see what we got going on. Upcoming meeting with Hirsick.
Didn't you want an absurd amount of cash for it?
50,000 for
50,000.
some good information. Supposedly. And we talked about getting Namkath in to start scouting the palace a little bit. Or just turn Namkath in our little sneaky, steely robe guy. Do all the things you can.
Why did you guys want to meet with Hirsick?
He supposedly has some very important, great information for us that he'd be willing to deal for.
Yeah, I'm not. I would rather just kill him.
Honestly,
Yeah, it can be. Just do that instead. Tell him we'll meet up with him and then kill him instead.
I mean, I'm not for just random murder, but I mean,
He betrayed
at
us,
least bonk
right?
him on the head.
He did leave us in the lurch, getting attacked by a shitload of creatures.
Yeah. I mean,
And
we don't
what are
have
you?
to.
What are you gonna say, Blackout? He was just doing his job.
I mean, he was. It's a mercenary's work. You can't blame him. Blame whoever hired him.
Yeah, but we were his tribe at that time. Shouldn't betray us for a job.
I mean, isn't that really your fault for trusting him? Yeah.
Did we ever find out who hired him? It wasn't Theros, was it? Someone else? Was it your boss, Blackout, that hired Devious character?
That would be hilarious.
And so this is just a job for you too, right, Blackout?
Let's see. Let me find your private messages, Tracy.
No, no, it's so much more for me. You guys are my friends.
I actually like
Yeah.
you guys.
Yeah. I mean, I guess you must be friends after what you did to Oldring's sister, right? Like,
Oh.
be pretty close now.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Tried to do. Oberyn blocked me every step of the way.
Remember I carry Disintegrate, that's all I'm saying.
To be fair, I don't think she was picking up what I was putting down.
Of course, she has taste.
Did you, out of character, were you hitting on her with your helmet on?
No, I actually took it off.
Nice. Swap.
Might not have helped.
Yeah.
Maybe if you learn sign language well in Undercommon, you might get a better in. I don't know.
Yeah, really show her I'm making an effort. Start to learn that Undercommon.
Yep. It'll come in so handy for everything.
But since the only person to teach you is the brother, and most likely will be completely 100% honest in what he's teaching you.
Oh,
Yeah.
I would never betray a party member.
That's right.
Because we're friends.
Same
See,
tribe.
that's how I know I can trust Oldrin.
Okay. We also talked about meeting up with Mockery. How long do you think we need to wait on that, Namkath?
A couple of days isn't a bad thing. I mean, we've already been gone a few days though, so I could probably check in with him.
Yeah, I'd say it's a good place to start.
Yeah, he's not gonna be happy with us, but
Few people are most days.
Torch loves us.
Did we question him about Hirsick? Does he know anything about Hirsick?
No, we haven't.
Okay, that might be a good line of questioning too.
Yeah, there is another point I wanted to bring up. Although, to our defense, we didn't know about this until after our shopping spree, but now we don't have the money to pay Hirsick.
I don't
It's for
think
the
we ever
better.
planned on paying him. We're probably gonna try to trick him into meeting us anyways.
One question. So we're back in our hideout, like underground right now. Is that where we are?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. And when we came back, like, what was the sense of how alert the city is? Like, do we know that they figured out like
Well,
that it's us, or who do they think did that stuff?
go ahead, Blackout. You had some of that information.
Yeah, it seemed like they don't know it's us so far.
Okay.
But we were laying low a bit because it seems like lines are being drawn amongst the captains.
Okay. Cool. So they're blaming each other.
Yeah,
Potentially.
kinda.
Cool.
And on purposely, I teleported us to a very important part of town to gather some very needed intel. And we learned that the city's on complete high alert.
Or at least that section of the city.
At least that section of the city, you know, where we destroyed everything.
At
Oh,
the moment,
nice.
the party is in the sewer sanctum together,
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
and the party is resting here.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Party
Remember, I
is
did-
rested.
Yeah, I took the time to scavenge stuff to turn it into an actual hideout.
Okay.
So you know, we got some tables, we got some chairs,
Oh.
a couple
Okay.
decks of cards.
Nice.
You know,
I was
a
gonna-
regular thieves lounge.
Gonna have you pick up a dictionary, but Tokala's not in the party anymore. I don't think we need it. Okay, which line of pursuit do we want to take out first?
Well, like I said, I can go hit the mockery, and see if he's got any suggestions or any feedback. I'm sure he does have some constructive criticism. He winces
Constructive.
at that.
Very constructive criticism incoming.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right, do you want any company?
Yeah, if somebody wants to come along, it wouldn't be a problem.
Any volunteers? I can go. Blackout, you want to go?
No, I think I'm gonna go to the Mercenary Guild Hall and see if anybody might know where Hirsick is holding up.
That's a good
Okay,
idea.
good idea.
Also, maybe look into things that might be able to get me into the palace area. You know, kind of under the same auspices that you have before. You know, let's look at the different angles that I might be able to get in to start scouting around.
Yeah, I'll ask.
I mean, we can do that with Mockery, because Mockery obviously is a fan of the forgot his name, Sovereign, and doesn't want him
Yeah.
doing drugs and stuff, so that he might be able to help us out a little.
Exactly. Just looking at all. I mean, I agree
Yeah,
that
all
the
angles.
idea. Yeah, getting in to get information is good. So let's see how many angles that we can get in to start looking at information.
Okay, Croctaw, Alfred, you guys want to do anything?
So you said the place that we teleported into was under high alert. Like, in what sense? Was it a bunch of gearsmen, or was it a bunch of guards?
Yeah, so I missed my chance and teleported us like a block and a half away from the destruction zone. and we about ran into a bunch of guards, and then you wind walked us out of all of it.
Okay. Like how many guards do we think are in that area?
Lots of
Yes.
patrols. Yes.
Well, I was just thinking, maybe I could go over there, cockroach form, and do a bubonic plague spell on one, and then run away.
I knew it. I knew it. I knew
Okay.
it was coming.
We've reached
I
that
mean, if
point
they're all
already.
in a tight area, I might as well
But it's not
give
going
them
to
a
affect
disease.
just the guards. It's going to affect regular people too.
Well, isn't that area kind of like decimated? Would people be evacuated?
Yeah, but only in like a block or so area, not like the 3 or 4 blocks out that everybody else is patrolling in, trying to find us.
I love this idea.
Not like it's not like
Yeah.
all the guards are standing around in a line around the destroyed building with a branch in their hand, pretending they're a bush.
That was really specific. Yeah, I guess they wouldn't be doing that.
I'm sorry, I thought I was remembered that comic book from the Tick.
Oh, I don't remember that. I like the image. It was funny.
I love when old party
Yes.
trauma comes bubbling up.
I remember that. That is an amazing scene.
I don't think they did it in the actual cartoon. I never saw the comic book, but there's a piece I was told about it. And basically, there was a bunch of ninjas around a building, and they're all holding one branch, obviously you can tell it's a ninjas. It's like, and they're all saying like, just a hedge, move along.
Yep, the comic surprisingly is even better than the show.
Well, of
The show was
course.
pretty funny.
It's fucking amazing.
So they'd have to spend more than an hour in a confined space with the target. So like at most, I'm just gonna kill all the guards' families.
Bruh.
No.
I
And even
mean,
then, let's be completely honest. Most of these guards are just doing a job to get paid. If they get in our way, okay, we have to kill a few. We have to kill a few. I am not going out there for wholesale slaughter of people just because they're doing a job.
but don't you think like the oppression of the people of Starfall daily by these people, like it can't stand. The sooner we rid them of this injustice, the better.
The oppression is coming from people above the guards. We're working on that part.
So you
Yeah,
should
but-
target palace guards.
That's a good idea. I'm good with that. I can go to the palace and just on the outside, sneak up on a guard.
Blackout is the devil on your other shoulder.
Yeah. I like that devil. Yeah. Blackout, do you think do you know anything about the palace? Is that something I could actually do? Spread an epidemic there without getting caught?
I have no idea. I'm not really familiar with magic or medicine.
Yeah, I mean, just have to get in as a cockroach, crawl on someone's foot, and then fly away.
Or, catch one of them on the way to work. How long does it take to cast such a spell?
Instantaneous.
Well, there you go. Look for one of them that's on their way to work, and there you go. You got one of them.
Yeah. Okay. So that's what practically. I guess that's an idea. I'll think about it. But then actually, what I'm gonna do is try to scope out, see if I can find a guard. I wouldn't necessarily attack him today, but see if I can just watch the palace, like a path going to the palace today. And if
So
I
you
see
wanna-
something that looks like a guard.
You want to do some scouting.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I think that's what I would do. While you guys are going to Mockery and the Mercenary Guild.
Okay, so the next morning after the teleport mishap, we are going up to the surface to do badman things. Let's see. Let's see. Let me go back to the city map for us. Okay, and currently the whole party is at the sewer spot. Awesome hideout that it is. And what is our first move that next morning?
Before we all take off, cast that.
Okay. Oh, non-detection communal. Very good. Probably wise, given that they're talking about destroying the populace.
I might be able to do a less severe disease than bubonic plague. I'm looking into it.
I mean, give them the good stuff.
Someone could start blaming it on or spreading a rumor about a miasma outside of town. Get super medieval about it.
What does that refer? I don't know what you mean by that, actually.
Oh, the bubonic plague was amongst other things was blamed on like these black clouds that supposedly appeared outside of towns called miasmas.
Ooh, nice. I could totally just put on a black cloak and then fly around outside in windwalk form with you guys.
My mist form literally appears as a black cloud.
There you go.
Hell yeah. Alright, let's see. Just in case it's needed. While listening to this discussion, I have worked up a new hype track. Maybe for Croctaw, maybe for somebody else, but if it strikes you as appropriate for your character, you can now have...
Some of those that work forces are the same that burn crosses. Some of those that work forces.
Yeah.
And then Nintendo music.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Hell yeah. Okay. So the first move is...
I don't care if we like RP in this order, but I'm going towards wherever, as close as I can get to the palace without thinking that I'll be seen. And
Okay.
if
You
there's
are
like a path
bug...
leading to it.
Right. You are bug form. You are going out through
Yep.
the Slay and Pipe Factory or through a sewer grate.
Yep.
Make a general stealth check for me. Your plus is monstrous. Chances of anybody seeing you are pretty minimal.
Okay.
And the non-detection Olbrin put on everybody is also on you. Okay. Well, it's a terrible roll, and yet 30 plus. Doesn't look like anybody notices you flying out of the sewer grate. You cruise along the city, and you're headed up towards the northern part of town.
Yeah, I want to see, like, I'm assuming we don't have any info. If Luna would maybe have info about, like, which part of the northern part of town is, like, the entrance to the palace, then I would go there and just, like, see if I can spot guards coming in and out.
Okay. As you fly towards the palace, you can make a perception check for me. (31). Croctaw, you notice that there are much more regimented patrols of guards. They are larger, and there are just vastly more of them. You're seeing guards in groups of 8 to 12. You're seeing them every few blocks. They appear to be kind of marching and checking, talking to people, knocking on doors. They are extremely active, and they're everywhere. It seems like the whole city's mobilized as you move around. And this is also causing the regular citizens to kind of retreat from the streets because they don't want to get questioned by the roving roadblock. So the city looks very different flying over it. And the palace, let's see, give me a spellcraft check.
Okay.
Okay. As you approach the palace, you see that there are a lot more guards around it and a lot more guard stations and towers. The palace is a pretty huge building and lots of circular spires, lots of different towers, and it also looks pretty what the regular folk call luxurious to you. From a distance, you're seeing balconies and big open outdoor areas at different levels of it, and you do see guards all around it, on it, many of them with range weapons, and you see some other figures that you figure are probably technically guards around it. And as you get close, you hear first sort of a high-pitched whine in your ear, and you feel that you've passed through some sort of magical barrier. You feel sort of a tingle, and you sort of check yourself instinctively, like looking, did I just get hit with something? Did I, fail a save? Or you're worried about that for a second, but nothing seems to have affected Croctaw. But when she looks back up, she sees the guards around the palace sprinting in all directions. And you see windows and shutters on the palace being closed. You see a sort of huge reaction as the whole place sort of turtles up. And you're a good maybe 2,000 feet away from it. You're still way south of it,
And I felt that it turtled up in reaction to me crossing the barrier, basically.
Croctaw can actually sort of pinpoint where it hit her. It was in sort of this area south of the palace. When you left the shopping district and crossed over into what could only be called, the palace district. You look, as she looks down, she sees that there's sort of an outer wall with gates every several thousand feet that you sort of buzzed over. Barely noticeable from the air, but you passed over something. And she believes she triggered just sort of an alarm, a general alert.
Okay, well, she'll back off after that.
Okay.
And that's her exploration.
She sees she can see all the patrols for like the neighborhood around going a little wonky too. They stop questioning citizens. They start yelling at everyone. People just retreat into their homes, and the guards like march up and down the streets while runners run between the guard patrols back and forth.
Okay. And do I have a sense that it's because I'm magical, or just like I'm unknown? Like if I were to send insect spies into there, would it trigger it as well, or can I not tell? I'm not sure.
You're not sure. Your spellcraft check tells, you know that wizards have a ton of different traps and barriers they can put up. Many, many variants of, the simplest version is just the alarm spell, but this is a huge area covering many city blocks that you just sort of flew through. And alarm spells of all types and levels, this would be a big one. It might still be as simple as a person of a certain power level or potency flies through, so probably insect spies might not trigger it, but they might also be considered an active spell effect, and that might trigger it.
Okay.
We can so use this against them.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so I think that's enough info gathering for this, and like it definitely seems like I'm not gonna get into the palace without them being aware that it's me. But I will go outside of that barrier, maybe one of the holes you said there was like a gate where people are getting in, and I'm just gonna watch one of the gates for the rest of the day.
Okay.
I want to see what type of people come in and out of it.
Okay. You will learn this hours later, but you will watch, and they don't let too many people in. You do see some, looks like supply wagons from local vendors, like food, wine, other things like that. They are brought up, and the guards take the materials in. The delivery people do not come inside the outer wall.
Okay.
Incoming homage to The Hobbit, where the entire party stuffs themselves inside wine barrels, ships themselves to the palace.
Oh no! See, now I'm gonna have Croctaw roll a d6,
Mm-hmm.
and that's however many hours between each time he crosses the barrier somewhere.
Just to trigger them.
Exactly. And I'm talking like 24 hours a day, every day. Just wear
Sure.
them down mentally.
Yeah, and if insects do it, like that's super easy. That thing. I don't even have to be there.
You look like an insect. You are an insect, but you are also a 14th level spellcaster who is
14th
able.
level insect.
What's the highest level spell you're able to cast?
7, right? Or is
If
it?
someone casts detect magic at you, you're like an 8 out of 10.
Right.
So magically, you are a big screaming ball of energy.
Okay.
To the barbarians, you're definitely just an insect, but technically, you are a huge threat. In any form.
Okay.
Like I said, we poke that alarm multiple times a day at random hours. So
Yeah.
you can't get any rest.
No, I like that idea. Croctaw wouldn't come up with it herself though, so I'll wait until we talk.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Once you come home and tell me, Nomcath is going to get a serious cat grin on his face when you tell him about that.
Nice.
Because especially with Croctaw just doing the bug thing, the likelihood of them pinpointing him, especially if he just goes, goes in like 5 feet then exits, you know.
I think other business that day because Croctaw's gone all day. Anybody else wanted to do something?
Yep, I'm going to Mockery.
Okay.
Sorry, I had to step away. You're going to Mockery. Do we want disguises and viz? What do you want, buddy?
Disguise, please.
Okay.
I think you were going with.
Yes.
Somebody was going with me.
Yeah, I'll go with you.
Alfred,
right?
that is mean. The only time Croctaw ever rates above a 5 is on a detect magic check. Wow. That is mean, dude.
Whoa.
I mean, not on Kassath, but it's okay.
Yeah, on Kassath, she's like an 8.
I was gonna say 10, but
Oh, sorry.
But
what I
considering the
meant.
fact they have
8 out of 8.
Yeah, but the problem is they also have. I mean, do they have 4-fingered hands or 5-fingered hands?
I don't know.
'Cause either way,
maybe
Google image
10-fingered
this.
hands.
if she's rating out herself a 10, it's 10 out of 20 though, because she's got 4 hands.
Yeah,
So their number system is probably.
That's true.
It's mod 20 or whatever instead of mod 10.
Base 20, yeah.
It looks like they have 5-fingered hands, so yeah. Yeah, they do,
Yeah, so-
for sure. Confirmed. Thumb
Yeah,
and
so
4
they're-
fingers.
She's a 10
Yeah.
on a scale of 1 to 20.
And I'm pretty primitive, so like when you guys start counting money, I'm super fucking confused. Like I just like, why are you doing it in base 10? I don't even understand that concept probably.
Yeah.
I would say, in case he shows up and while we're doing it, Rye would go with us. Or Luna, excuse me. Luna would
Yeah.
probably go with us. He usually
Okay.
does.
Okay. So we need to go to the Mall of Numeria. And this is Nomcath,
Oberon,
Oberon,
and Luna.
Luna. And Alfred rolls his stealth to come along.
Giggity.
Maybe not.
1 second.
I mean, I can give you Invis.
There's not enough invis in the world.
Yo.
Hey!
That's not
That's about as good as you can hope from him. 19 minus 3 comes to 16.
You can sneak by the average town guard, not a city guard, but town guard.
Do you want to disguise Alfred?
I thought I had one.
No, I did disguise other on Numcath and disguise self, but I can give you one here.
Oh,
There you
yeah.
go. Gotcha.
Thank you, Boyle.
God. I just heard another one, Josh, about the submarine that was lost.
Oh, good lord, yeah, that thing.
Oh, somebody said, did you hear about the one of the people who were LARPing Barotrauma? That
Oh
game
my
is dark.
gosh.
Mm-hmm. I just keep seeing people post that meme of Jerry Seinfeld saying, "I feel sorry for billionaires. They're under a lot of pressure."
Oh man.
I like the one with the orcas saying they have no idea what happened to the boat or to the submarine.
Oh man! And it came out today that the Navy heard it implode like 2 days ago
Oh damn.
Ooh.
because they have those microphones everywhere.
Fuck them
And-
boats.
And didn't an
them.
orca attack a ship like the other day?
Dude, the orcas have been, yeah,
They've been waging war on yachts, dude.
yeah,
Nice.
yeah. The general consensus is, am I supposed to root against the orcas here?
Some druid shit.
Oh
Yeah.
shit! Right.
It's Crocta. All right. So, you guys travel to Mockery. You stop in the butcher shop. He makes you buy, like 10 gold worth of steaks. Wraps them up nicely for you. Says, hope you enjoy those. And then he walks back into the back of his shop and comes back and kind of nods across the street to the little street cafe across the way and bids you good day.
All right. We head to the cafe.
You sit down and grab a seat, and you're brought a menu, and they offer you some of the finest Starfall coffee, which all the coffee in Starfall is like jet fuel. It's very potent, very strong, and they don't have a lot of dairy farms here, so it's black. Ulfred, you're not actually there, bud. 16
Oh.
stealth is not going to cut it. I was kidding. Go ahead and...
Fair enough.
Oh, well, I think the others would stop you, is what I'm saying. I think Nomcath would
Yeah.
maybe veto.
If it wasn't so busy, I'd be happy to have you. But
Fine. I'd be going to the other dwarves to see if they need a helping hand. I can bang on some metal or something.
Yeah. You notice that they gladly accept your super bless every morning, but then they reject your company.
Hmm.
That's how they do.
We only love you for your spell slots, Alfred.
That's right. Only love you for your slots. So,
I'm a slot bag.
that's right. We're not going there. You guys will spend the
Okay.
whole session there doing nothing.
True.
Sorry, go ahead. I'm
Fucking,
moving away from my button, my push to talk button. Please continue.
fucking book 5 was just slot bag, and the campaign ended there. We moved on to shackles because we couldn't bother to progress Iron Gods anymore. Whole party addicted to slot machines. So you guys sit down. You're brought some stout coffees, and after a while, a strange sort of Ulfin-looking man comes in with a sort of gray-white beard and winter clothing bundled on his back, and he sits down next to you, and you recognize his eyes, but Mockery is in a pretty solid disguise today.
morning, old man.
He says, "What are you doing to the city? You understand that I want you to succeed, but I want to have a city when you're done."
Trust me, I am not happy with what happened. I will say this. The explosion was not intended, but was a necessary consequence. That was a juggernaut gearsman that had to be taken out. You know what those are?
Yes.
Okay, so that's the explosion. The other part is from a druid I'm seriously contemplating kicking from our group because he is getting more and more into large ecological disaster mindsets.
He
Man,
shakes
you
his
don't
head.
even know that Crocta is a woman.
Just about to correct you.
Wow. You know you care when you misgender your druid. He shakes his head and looks at you, and he says, "All my experience with druids is bad. They're crazy, hateful, monstrous terrorists. They're just like wild beasts and barely barely functional people. And you realize then that his only experience with druids is the Earthen Daughter.
Yes. Well, so far we have talked him down from basically raising the entire city at least 3 times.
That's terrifying.
Yeah.
I hope you all are ready for what's next. They know someone's coming for them. I hope they don't know who.
So according to our insider, they don't know who yet.
Oh, you have an insider. That's good.
Yeah,
very
actually,
good.
I wanted to ask you about him, just in case you knew anything. Ever heard of a mercenary that goes by the name of Blackout?
Only by name. Well, let me just roll for him, see how well he does. Blackout's a bit obscure for the circles he runs in.
Yeah, I figured, but it never hurts to drop the name.
Heard of him? Contract mage hunter for the Technic League. That's all I know.
Yep. He's working for one of the captains.
Interesting ally you've chosen, but I get it.
He
No
kind of
one-
chose us.
Well, that should scare you.
It does,
Okay.
but a tool is a tool, right?
He says, I've known barbarians of every tribe that I would never trust. And I've known barbarians of every tribe that I made friends with, or at least made peace with. I have never met a single person from the Technic League that was really who they said they were or who they portrayed themselves to be.
Yeah.
In my many years of experience, everyone in that organization is a masterful liar.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm sure you know what you're doing, other than when you're ripping buildings apart.
I think we know what we're doing on a grand scale. Unfortunately, it's the smaller scale stuff that. And again, the previous one was definitely not our fault. We had no idea they were coming.
He says, well, what do you think your next move is? What do you need from me?
Well, from our insider, we know that there's now the captains are breaking into 3 factions. There's the one on nominally less of a problem than the others, so we're not. They're getting pushed into, if we have to take them all out, we're taking these out last group. There's a couple of neutrals, and then there's 3 more other ones that are definitely on our list to take out. Right now, we're figuring out our angle for that one. We're kind of thinking we need to hit one of the quote-unquote good side to kind of make sure the lines keep staying fractured. Or we're waiting some feedback on that, whether or not we can get somebody to volunteer for a failed attempt. Our other thing we're looking into right now is we need to get more information on what's going on with the Black Sovereign. We need to know what's going in that palace, if destroying that drug production is having any sort of effect, if there's anything in there we can exploit. And honestly, also just your opinion. Do you think once the Black Sovereign starts going through those withdrawals, if he can be guided through them and come out the other side somebody you would still want sitting on that throne?
That is my hope, but in truth, I don't have any basis for believing it. I don't count on it myself. But I do believe at this point the city, with the Technic League behaving as it is, the city would be better off even if he fell completely.
Well,
It would take an incredible force or event or something to hold the tribes together if he falls. They will all turn on each other and either separate, and Numeria will become a scattered war zone of different barbarian tribes killing each other again, as it was 200 years ago, or they'll fight each other for the right to be the next Black Sovereign, as there have been a few.
do you have anybody that you trust and also feel like has a chance of taking his place?
The trouble with corruption at the very top is it trickles down. The heads of the other tribes are all, I would say, weak, self-serving people who aren't really deserving of their position. So no, there's no one near the top that I think would rise to being what Kevoth Kul was when he was younger and sober. So I expect quite a bit of chaos if he falls.
Okay.
As for the drugs, he has a considerable stash. Some in the palace and some off-site. I am trying to find where. Trying to get what
Yeah.
information I can, but he may have other sources that he is preparing to make that awful stuff, since you took the dock away from him. He said, and there's a tidbit of info. It might mean nothing, but since the incident with Abernathy, they've increased the guards everywhere, but I have a source inside the city guard who says that they have reassigned all the guards and increased the guard patrols at a particular facility in town.
Do you know where that is?
I think I can find out if I press.
If you can get information on it, even just a location, and we can check it out. We've got means for that sort of stuff.
So help
Alright.
us game out if another attack is made and destroys another supplier of the Black Sovereign. What do you think will happen next?
If his supply runs out, he'll sober up. He's addicted to a very particular drug, this weird orange paste stuff that Doc Hillbroth made.
Mm-hmm.
If that's taken away from him, he will eventually come out of it, and I have no idea what the withdrawal effects of that drug will be, but they won't be good. He
He's
won't
also
be
been taking them for a very, very long time, hasn't he?
that too. And they appear to have had more than some positive effects and some negative. So if you take that supply completely away from him, you've already destroyed, as far as I know, the means of production. If you can take out the storage, then he may be forced to sober up. Now, whether that kills him or makes him worse, or eventually leads to him getting better, who can say?
You have general contacts and people inside the barbarian tribes, right?
A few, yes.
As a suggestion,
Mm-hmm.
start spreading some stories about how the Technic League are weak. I mean, two of them have fallen in two of their captains have fallen in less than a couple of weeks. If we can build up the tension between the barbarians and the Technic League, then, that means everybody's attention is spread even thinner, right?
They are in a coordinated attempt right now to control information. They don't want the Black Sovereign's forces to know that two of the Technic League captains are dead. Because they know that if that information gets out, the barbarians will assume the Technic League is eating itself, as it has done once in a while. And could could use that opportunity to push them out or weaken them in some way, get more control. But they definitely don't want to look weak, not to each other and not to the barbarians.
Exactly. I figured they were keeping that information quiet, so let's get that information out there to them.
Okay. I'll make sure that the city hears that Avernathy's dead, and so is the Shade.
Mm-hmm.
This will increase the paranoia and defensiveness of the others.
True, but at the same time, some groups of barbarians may attack on their own. The hot bloods who think they can make a name for themselves. Maybe they probably won't be able to do anything, but that covers up our attacks.
It would be unlikely for any of the tribes to turn against Kavath Kul. They would love to turn on the Technic League, but he is with them and they are with him, and everyone knows it.
So if his supplies continue to be interrupted, destroyed, what will the reactions of the Technic League be? I'm assuming they want him on it, because it keeps him docile and dominated, correct?
I believe so. I've never taken the stuff myself. Only a fool would ingest that substance.
Yeah, we don't know anybody who would do that either.
I don't know anyone that stupid, other than the Black Sovereign. It's pure insanity to take that drug.
What will the orc tribes, once they learn this information that supplies are being destroyed, interrupted, what will be their reaction?
I would imagine they would have concern. They know that their leader is addicted to this stuff. They also know that he looks like he's in the prime of youth despite being at least 80 years old. So they suspect that the Technic League that's the bargain, that he allows them to have such power and influence in exchange for eternal life. Barbarians are a superstitious people who understand very little of what the Technic League do.
I still think the thing is to see if we can put a wedge between the Technic League and the barbarians that helps us in the long run, even though it is going to make it harder to hit our targets when we do. I want to break the back of all of this with doing as little damage as possible to the people. Despite what it seems like with our last efforts, I really honestly, I don't like the idea of the average person getting hurt with this.
What is your end game? Mockery, I'm talking to you. What is your end game?
I would like to see the Black Sovereign return to his former competence and strength to unite our people and push these tricksters away from the throne. The Technic League is maybe a little bit useful, but they should not be running the country.
But you've expressed your lack of hope for this coming true, so even as you're engaging in these tactics, you have to have an ulterior endgame, at least running through your mind a little bit.
If the Black Sovereign falls and a barbarian tribe emerges as sort of ascendant, I will throw my support behind them for the safety and security of the city. New leadership, peace under that banner, and hopefully in the process destroy the Technic League.
Here's another thought. Do you have access to an expert alchemist? Because if we brought a sample of that drug, maybe they could brew up some sort of, if not antidote, then something to make the withdrawals easier.
I do not at the moment. I confess that Doc Hellbroth was the most competent alchemist I knew.
Alright. It was thought. I can't think of anybody in our travels that I would take such a thing to and have them figure it out.
Well, I'll get you a location on this strange facility they're reinforcing the guards at.
Yeah.
Of course, I don't know what good it does you to hear about a place where they've doubled the guards. It doesn't seem like the sort of target you want to hit. But
If it's a production of this drug, then we want to hit it. We don't want them starting it again. And
All right.
we may find notes in there of where they're storing it outside. There's multiple games going on right now, and I'm trying to juggle them all as best as I can. Speaking of which, do you have any ideas of how someone like me might sneak into the palace area to gather information?
It is, well, you have those. He looks at Olbrin. He said, I would expect you to understand the defenses better than I could, but I know the Technic League have warded every way in they can think of.
With just magic or technomancy too?
Well, they have ways of knowing when anyone of consequence to them, meaning a magic user, enters within a certain distance of these places. I know that. Some sort of early warning system. But it doesn't trigger on them, so there must be some way that they are able to step through the net without being caught in it. Otherwise, the alarm would be going off constantly. That's all I understand.
Can you guess how it reacts with technology?
No, they have other means of searching for technology, but I gather that they've been having a bit of confusion on that front.
In what way?
I heard a rumor that the gearsmen that normally patrol the streets, the Technic League tried to increase their number and frequency, and the gearsmen have been less responsive than normal across the city. The gearsmen always exhibit a strange will once in a while. The Technic League will say, patrol this neighborhood, and they'll walk off in the opposite direction and come back the next day. And apparently that has been happening at a greater frequency.
Did it start
Go ahead.
right after we took out Abernathy? The increase in them misbehaving.
This report, they've noticed this over the last several days. So the days leading up to that, and then, yeah, it's definitely a very recent phenomenon. And again, it's just worse than normal. The gearsmen are always a little unpredictable.
Yeah. I have a vague idea what might be causing that, but it's nothing I want to share here. So.
He says, well, if you don't have anything else, I'll see if I can get you what you asked for.
Did you ask him about Hirsik Namkath?
Oh no, Hearsick, yeah. If you didn't know anything about Blackout, you probably don't know anything about Hearsick either, but it's, again, worth dropping the name.
He is rolling so bad. He's rolled a 4, a 5, and a 3. He says, don't know much about him. I hear he's a bounty hunter with devil horns. That's what I know.
Yep. He says he's got information, but he wants 50,000 gold for it, and we don't trust him.
We've dealt with him in the past.
Can't help you there, but for $50,000, we can all just move somewhere else and live out the rest of our lives in peace.
Exactly. And so he's got to have, it has to be something extremely good to be worth that much money.
Or
he's
just bullshit.
A greedy, yeah, he's just a greedy son of a bitch and knows we're going to shoot him anyways. All right. we'll try and keep things to a dull roar from this point forward. I will sit on our druid if necessary.
Did
He asked for one of your communicators,
Okay.
and you see him right in front of you. He turns it to a specific frequency, looks at you, and taps it and hands it back. Meaning that'll be the next frequency I contact you on.
I just
Have
kinda
we
nod
asked
and tuck it
him-
away.
Have we asked
Go
him
ahead.
about what's her name? Cyril? The lady who disappeared? Have we asked him about her?
Scylla?
Scylla, yeah.
No, I don't think we have. Have you heard anything about where Scylla might have gone?
No, gone for
No.
almost a month now.
Yeah.
Would anybody know anything about her?
No, I don't have any contacts that high up in the Technic League. All I know is they were not overly alarmed about her being gone, which with them can mean that they're going on an expedition. Like Crastus left for several weeks to go south and do whatever he did, and he came back. She just hasn't come back yet.
Yeah. Actually, one last thing. What's your opinion of Zernabeth?
She's a Technic League wizard. A brilliant mind full of spiders.
Yeah, kind of the impression I was getting too. She's our inside person.
She probably just wants to be in charge again, and if her goals are that simple, maybe you can work with that.
Exactly. And
If they're that simple.
from some other people I've spoken with, the people who are siding with her, he's of the general opinion of if we had to leave the people alive to run the Technic League, these are the least worst people to leave alive. So
Least worse is a cheery future.
yeah, but at the same time, as the old saying goes, the devil you know, right?
Well, the devil you know is here sick.
True, but I'm saying if we take out all the captains, if the Technic League doesn't completely shatter, somebody's going to rise to the top and may end up being worse.
Unless you burn it to the foundations, he says as he swigs the last of his coffee and walks away.
Yeah.
Well
there's
played.
that. That's a pretty big order for just just a handful of people.
He says, you're not just a handful of people. He says, you play this right, and the gangs will go to war with you. He says, there's an army without a battle, sitting over in Killbox. He waves and walks off.
I hadn't considered that, but yeah.
Thinking about that, I'm not sure how to bring them together other than hating the Technic League, which may be a simple and easy answer.
True. Might need to start talking to some of those gang leaders.
I'm telling you, form a gang and start knocking off stuff. We get all the good stuff and we just take it right to their face. That's all I'm saying. Been saying it for days.
Problem is, the places I want to knock away from the gangs. All the way up there in Sovereign's Watch. Those are the houses, or maybe in the inner sector kind of area. Those are the houses where the good stuff is. Anyways, let's head back.
Okay. Guys, with the aid of multiple spells and Nomcast skills, cruise back. By the way, Rai, you got dragged along for any of that, so if you have any questions, I saw that you popped in.
No worries. I just figured, did I have time to go to that appointment of mine that I had sort of last week?
Yeah,
Which
you
of-
did.
Your tattoo?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you have time to do that today. I forgot. You actually probably go do that instead of going with Mockery.
I'd probably go there and then head to it after. Or
Okay.
How early was it?
They were going out in the morning, but yeah, you can go get that done. Consider it
Yeah.
completed.
Okay. I'll be
So far today, Croctaw kind of explored the palace defenses, found them pretty alert at the moment, and then you heard probably most of the conversation with Mockery.
Good point. Anyway.
He thinks you guys are all a bunch of loose cannons and wonders if there will be a city left to rule at the end of this. But he's pretty committed at this point. So, anything else before the evening and Croctaw returns?
Yes, I was going to go to the Mercenary Guild and ask around / try to bribe people for information on where I can find Heersick.
Okay. You head on over and see there's a number of mercenary guilds in the city, but you have been in here a while and you work for the one that pays out the best and gets all the big contracts. The sort of circles you run in do not, go repossess a stolen horse or a mortgaged anvil. You don't do petty shit. You're usually on assassinations or specific target recoveries, high value criminals. And so the sort of message boards you're walking by, it's not a conventional thing. It's not you don't go to a bulletin board and see a bunch of faces you're supposed to kill. You go and talk to a specific broker, and they talk to you about what they have on offer, what they need, and if any of the jobs fit you, and if you accept it. And the broker you've talked to the most over the last several years and has helped you make the most money and has given you for you the least trouble jobs, the most pay other than Zernabeth, has been a old, fat, retired barbarian mercenary named Jorg.
Jorg, you old so-and-so.
He goes, Blackout, you piece of shit. I need you to shoot 5 people.
Are they in this room? I've got you.
Boy, you are getting lazy. You might be ready to retire.
I'm just joking, you know that. I've got other shit going on.
Oh, yeah? Well, that don't concern me. I don't want to know nothing about it.
Damn right.
Yep. Well, what do you want? You want to shoot him? You want to catch him? You want to scare him? What's your pleasure? I got all kinds of shit.
Need to track down Heersick.
You gonna shoot him?
Not if he cooperates.
He's in the guild, but I can't sell him to you.
I just need to talk to his dumbass. He's trying to get me for 50,000 gold just for a chat.
Really?
Bastard.
He looks at you and he says, I'll tell you this. Heersick's on the outs with his big daddy, from what I know. He ain't done any jobs since the Theris Halyard thing. He ain't come in here for any jobs. He ain't taken any jobs. He might be looking to get out of town.
That explains it. And a nest egg like that, that's retirement money.
Mm-hmm. Seems like he's either being pushed out of the game or he's trying to get out. So watch your ass with that.
That means he's going to be deep underground. Hard to find.
And if you do find him, a cornered animal.
Right.
Not that devils are animals. I don't got anything against anybody. I hate everybody the same, right? Not with that anti-devil talk. Heersick's a piece of shit for a dozen other reasons.
That's right, yeah.
That's right. Can't hate someone just for their horns. That's silly. They're weird looking though. He's got that
I mean-
stupid accent. Ugh.
This isn't Cheliax. I
Yeah.
don't even know what he's doing anymore.
I hate him just for the accent. He could talk normal if he wanted to. He's just hamming it up.
Alright, well.
Who wears a cape, honestly? You've seen it. Big red cape. Like, we see the horns. We know. You don't have to wear a red cape. Okay? Everybody fucking knows. Your big devil dong hanging out, probably.
Who does Hearsik hang out with? Who would you say is his main guy?
In the TL? You mean his TL daddy?
No, I know that. I'm saying, other mercenaries.
Nobody. He's a solo, kind of like you. You're better. He holds up both his hands. He said, you're way better than him. But, he has brought in some big stuff. I don't know how he brought in the Theris thing. Chased down a technically wizard and like 8 or 10 of his guards, and he comes back with just an armload of technically badges. Crazy.
He, Blackout looks around conspiratorially and leans in and says, I heard he had help.
Yeah, they're probably all dead in a ditch somewhere.
Yeah, probably. Can't trust him.
Mm-mm. It's because of the cape. I'm fine with the horns, but...
Alright, well... Here, have one on me, and he puts a little bit of money down on the table there.
He says, all right, good luck with it. Don't get shot. You do the shooting. That's how it works, right?
That's right. And, don't end up on my list.
I wouldn't. I'm a law-abiding citizen. I don't do shit. Boring as hell.
Yeah, so I'll take that information back to the crew.
Okay. The crew will be thrilled to hear that everybody hates Hearsik. But some for, just because of the cape.
Yeah, you had a real hang up on the cape, guys. I don't understand.
Okay. How does the rest of the party come and go? How do you leave and how do you return to the sewer sanctum?
I just come in cockroach form.
Yeah, you are very difficult to track entering and leaving the sewers because you're tiny. But the others, I need to know how you get out into the city and how you get back down in here. So that I can catch you and kill you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I figure since
Nice.
we've hung out here for several days, we've mapped this portion of the sewers pretty decent, so we've probably found a couple of different places we can get out at. I mean, some more open than others, obviously, but I would say probably Nomcast's instinct would be to get into the sewers like several blocks away, kind of thing.
Okay.
And do it, exit one place, enter a different place, knowing the different ways to do it, not having any sort of pattern to
Okay.
make it easy to follow.
Let's have a stealth check for all of our people who went out into town. That is basically everyone except Ulfred. You may use spells or items beforehand if you wish.
Yeah, I mean,
As long as you can afford to do it both ways. In and out.
we got the invisibility god with us, so I'm sure he'll visit us going in and out, right?
Yep.
Okay. So you can have that.
Stealth.
You don't have to spend them all, Josh. It'll be like 8 of them, but yeah.
Okay, I didn't know if you wanted me
Just
to do it.
no,
to
you
keep
guys
track.
can just do stealth checks. Numbcat,
Plus,
that's not even with invis.
plus, yeah, that's with invis on top of that.
Okay. Olbrin is a 36 with invis. And then Rye, when you get a sec. Bastards, the bloody bastards. What are you yelling about, Alfred?
Mumbling to myself.
God.
Luna with the 233 disguise check. I think you're
What the
playing
fuck?
Rollmaster instead of D&D, but
Yep. Okay. Let me try that again.
Basically, I'm mumbling myself that they say I can't come along because I'm not sneaky.
oh, Blackout with the 58.
With a roll of 6.
Huh.
I use some invisibility.
I see that.
Hey.
Natural 20 for Luna. Very stealthy barbarian. Very sneaky. Okay. The stealth average is high. You got Ulfred here at your command center. Croctaw returns no problem. Cockroach form is a great way to be sneaky in a city full of people that don't really notice those. And you guys are pretty confident that you were extremely careful coming and going today. Probably won't kill you.
Good to know.
You guys are high levels. You're professional. Yeah, Ulfred's just here getting hammered with his brow brew, taking non-lethal damage with every drink. Emotional damage. But you guys are professionals. You're very sneaky, and you have a ton of countermeasures, safety measures to prevent detection. So you guys feel pretty good about your stealth at the moment.
For future knowledge, like if I had used like pass wall to get large groups in and out, would that show up on a detection?
After the fact, it'd show up for a little bit because a high-level spell was used. But they would have to be walking over that spot with detect magic within the next hour or so.
Okay.
Unlikely to be caught that way.
And does D-Door, is it traceable like TP?
Technically, yes, but not into the sanctum. The only reason you wouldn't want to teleport into the sanctum is if they are able to trace your teleport from its origination, and then they cast trace teleport, and it's like when they say, where did that teleport lead to, and the spell says, oh, then they know you've teleported into a mage's sanctum or some other dead zone of detection. So then they would start looking for that. And then it might involve low-level Technic League nobodies walking down the street casting Detect Magic all day. They might get desperate and just send out little roving magic detect noobs.
So the moral of the story is, if we have to emergency teleport out, teleport somewhere away from here, and then do a second teleport back into our sanctuary.
That would make it harder.
Well,
Basically,
what
teleport
you guys-
VPN.
Yeah.
Did you guys find out anything interesting today, though, from Mockery or your Thieves Guild or whatever it is you do, Blackout?
Found out that Hearsick's looking to retire.
We can retire pretty damn quickly.
I'm just saying that's why he's looking for the big payout. He's on the outs with his person in the league.
You
That's
don't know who
nice.
that is?
I told you that with just how much money he's asking for.
I do. To answer your question, Olbrin,
Who's that?
I don't think it's relevant to this conversation.
Well, if he's on the
So-
outs with that person, maybe we can take him out.
So, same boss is what you're saying. Got it.
He wishes.
So we got bits and pieces of information from Mockery. He suspects there's 2 storage locations of the drug the Black Sovereign is on. one in the palace, one outside the palace, because you're gonna try and get us information on where that outside the palace stash is, so that we can raid it and destroy it. He did say there's a location that, on top of all the other guard activity that's going on, they have specifically doubled the guard at this one location. So if the Technical League thinks it's important, that means it's important for us to figure out what's there and to see if it's anything we need to wipe off from the face of the city.
Yeah, it makes sense to me.
Blackout. Let's see, the TL that's in charge of the city guard, is that Elias or whatever the hell his name was?
I don't remember. Who was
Am I
it?
remembering Elias or something like that? Am I remember that correctly, Toby?
Mm-hmm.
So if he's in charge of the city guard, he's probably got an idea of where this guard increase is happening. Does that logic follow?
Makes sense to me.
Okay, could the boss of you and Hirsik find out where those places might be?
Maybe. That's asking a lot, though. For them to go up against the Black Sovereign in such a direct way.
No, I think the guards they're talking about the doubling is like city guard, so it's probably technically.
Okay, technically, guards are doubling or city guards doubling.
City guard, but technically he is in charge of the city guard.
Yeah, Elias is in charge of him. He's kind of the commander, correct, Blackout?
Exactly.
Why don't we just capture him? Ask him.
Because he's one of the ones who's allying with your boss.
Oh, perfect guy to fake an attack on.
Maybe.
Speaking of which, my boss wasn't too thrilled about that idea.
On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm not thrilled.
Pretty much put the kibosh on that one.
Okay.
Basically, my boss doesn't think they could convince anyone else to put themselves at our mercy like that.
Understandable.
It just would have been useful to manage the story, so to speak. I did tell Mockery to start spreading information amongst his contacts in the barbarians about the deaths of the two captains. You know, we can guess that it's being hidden from the barbarian leadership, and we want to put as much tension between them as possible. It's probably going to make our job to hit the other captains harder, but at the same time, we want their attention spread in as many directions as possible.
So, help me follow this line of logic. So if we get good information from Elias about where the increased guards are, and say we attack these locations, destroy the caches, logically, would the technically not maybe think that it's possibly orcs or a faction wanting to free the Black Sovereign, and not point directly to outside magic users, you know, trying to knock off the Technic Lead one by one? Does that make any sense at all?
Could you say that again? Not sure.
So, okay, so we're worried about a couple things. We're worried about the Technic League figuring out who's coming after them and killing them, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. And the overall goal seems to be to free the Black Sovereign, both by us. That's what Mockery wants. That's, I don't know, Blackout, do you think that's what the regular orc tribes want? be under his command and not the Technic League?
Definitely, although they already see it that way, I think. They don't think the Technic League controls him, they think that he controls the Technic League.
Okay.
Except for the tribes that think that he's betrayed the tribes by allying with the Technic League.
Right.
So, if we find out the information from Elias where these guard patrols are doubling, which would naturally, we would assume being a strong word, those are where the caches are, and we attack and destroy those, not harming Elias, just taking out the caches, what would stop the Technic League from thinking that it's possibly orc tribes or barbarian tribes trying to just free the sovereign and not necessarily people going specifically at the Technic League?
First and foremost, I don't think they would think that the tribes were strong enough to take out two of the captains. You heard how Mockery put it when I said that maybe that some of the young blood might try attacking the captains if they think they're weak. He said it just wouldn't happen.
True. Okay.
However, that doesn't mean we can't if we find those caches, stage a little bit of a show and make it look like the barbarians are attacking the caches. Probably make the attacks look different than what we've done before. And maybe even recruit the cult of Takala to help us out.
It'd also be extremely easy for us to make it look like Earth and Daughter. Frame them for things if we want. It seems like every time I do something, they assume it's Earth and Daughter.
Possibility.
But I don't know if this would be something that the Earth and Daughters would be known for attacking. I think they just want to kill people in general, and
They did have a dead guard in their shack when we came across them.
Yeah, because that was just probably an attack of opportunity. I distinctly remember them talking about they would kill many people, and that they thought we were going to help them.
True.
I don't think they
care
who they kill.
We don't. It doesn't have to be a surgical strike on Elias. If it helps our cause.
No.
Yeah, I don't think it needs to be either, but I'm just wondering if we can use information to cause some misdirection. More
I'm all for that. We just
away
gotta
from the
make
TL and more on the Black Sovereign and what he's going through. How wise do you think that is, or probable do you think that is, Blackout?
Sorry, repeat that for me.
If we make it seem like someone's coming directly after freeing the Black Sovereign, what do you think the repercussions of that would be?
Could unite the captains. If the Black Sovereign's free, he's a danger to all of them.
True.
Namkath,
Yes.
your communicator goes. Psh.
Okay. I will answer it.
You hear a voice that may be Mockery's, sounds vaguely like him. And he says, northwest of the intersector, almost against the northern wall, overlooking Silvergate, is where the facility is. And he gives you a sort of basic set of directions to it. And he says, thief to a thief. I was surprised what a low-level, unimportant city guard had this information. Do with it what you will.
Thank you very much.
He hangs up.
Yep. That, my friends, sounds like bait for a trap.
Agreed.
But the fun thing about traps, sometimes you can turn them around against the people who set them. That is going to call for some very careful scouting and information gathering before we decide to poke that nest.
So, not sure what the plan is here, but I'm sure you're all dying to know how Project Plague Palace went.
Yeah, how'd that go?
Yeah, not well, sorry. I have to admit, wasn't able to poison anyone with a disease,
Damn.
unfortunately. Several thousand feet out, in fact, once I cross a sort of invisible, mystical line of sorts, the entire palace kind of turtled up. I mean, closed the doors and defenses, and everyone became seemingly aware that I had crossed the line. So yeah, I think they have some type of alert spell for magic users, I guess.
Yeah, Mark Reed pretty much
Really?
confirmed that for us. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Like instantaneous response?
Yeah. It shut
they seem
like
to
as soon as
be
I crossed it.
Did they seem to be focusing on where you crossed the line, or just general huddling up in a defensive position?
Just defensive. Didn't get any indication that people had any clue that it was me or where I was, but they did just turtle up the whole palace from what I could tell. General
Oldburn, you've got
defensive
a
position.
24 spellcraft and a 16 arcana.
Yeah, would I know any kind of spells that might cause that? And how far out was that crocked off? You had to estimate how far out was the line.
Toby, do you remember? I can't recall the exact amount.
Yeah, you were several thousand feet away from the palace or the technically compound. It was a very wide circle.
Yeah, so that.
Yeah, I would consult myself and Wolfred. Do you know any kind of alarm? I mean, not alarm, but this seems bigger than alarm. Any kind of detection spells? What that might be?
Alfred, I'll give you. What's your craft skill? You're like blacksmithing or magic item crafting skill.
1 second, I was AFK.
Ah, typical.
Damn it!
Well,
I'm
you guys,
right here.
You guys locked him in the sewer all day, you know.
Right when we needed your
Then when
slots.
you need him, he doesn't come running. Well, that's too bad. Leave him in the sewer all day, will you? Just because he's 450 pounds.
I have engineering, if that works.
Well, no, it's craft construct, but you've got a 5 there, sir.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
I've got craft arms and armor.
The skill?
Yeah. For a crafting skill, yeah.
I'll let you roll it because you've been inside the palace. Luna, you remember a long time ago when you first started hanging out at the palace, you, and only you amongst your barbarian friends, sometimes seemed like you set off some kind of invisible tripwire. And when you asked about it, the Technic League wouldn't answer any questions about how it worked or what it did exactly. But out of a group of 40 barbarians, you were the only one that seemed to trip it. And eventually, while you were there, they would give you like a necklace to put on, which had a big red target around the neck, around it, and made you kind of stand out, and then they would take it back from you when you left. And it would apparently prevent you from setting off the alarm.
Where can we get that necklace?
And Luna, you know what separates you from the other barbarians, right?
She's a spellcaster.
What kind?
Arcane. arcane casting in a way.
Might that item have been
So-
doing?
Oberon, your original spellcraft, to you it sounded not dissimilar from the wards that are on a drow family's house, which is usually a fortress designed to repel assaults from other magic-capable armies on the regular, because drows regularly go to war and betray each other and have really bloody inter-family battles. So some of the drow households you've visited could be set off by spellcasters of a certain level or people with magic items of a certain power level. So it could be an item, but it's definitely keyed to power level. It doesn't go off when, a nobody walks in with nothing. It doesn't go off when the servants come and go. But if a, 10th level polymorphed wizard tries to enter the compound, that will set it off. If someone tries to walk into the compound with an elf slaying sword or something, that could set it off. That's the drow version of this. And being as your superior motherfucker, you probably figure the drow version of this is better, but this one seems pretty sensitive. It pinged Croctaw at a long way off in bug form. It definitely didn't see her. The guards didn't shoot at her, so it didn't tell them exactly where the threat was coming from. You think that it probably indicated that a high-level spellcaster who was not authorized in some way or fashion entered this huge globe.
Yeah, so
And
it's gonna be a problem when we ever go there.
She had non-detection on her.
Ooh. True.
So yeah, take it as you do, but I don't know. It's gonna be an issue, I guess, when we want to go in there as spellcasters eventually. And send Nomcat, I guess, solo to take out the palace.
Yeah, you're not magic at all, right, Nomcath?
Just the items on me, really.
But otherwise, yeah.
We can use this to our advantage. If they've got a spell that goes off like that, I mean, just imagine being in a guard place like that, and every random number of hours it goes off, day and night, days on end.
Could be pretty frustrating for them, yeah. Make some fatigue amongst the guard.
And with you going in as your little cockroach form, it'd be about impossible to detect, especially if you pick a different place to come in every time. I mean,
Yeah,
sure,
that'd be
we're gonna be setting off, obviously we're gonna be looking like we're probing the place, but they're already kind of on alert because we're taking out the technically captains. I mean, literally, and he digs in a pocket and pulls out a die and kind of tosses it on the table. If we just roll that, and then however many hours that is between the next time you border somewhere, keep it completely random.
I don't think it has to be. I mean, we should target nighttime to disrupt sleep.
Day and night.
Yeah, sure. Day's good too.
The whole point is we want them guessing. We want them to not be any pattern, anything they can try and figure out.
Okay, so this throws off their pattern. It fatigues them in some ways, and they start get desensitized to it. But they would obviously know that a high-level spellcaster's probing. What would be the consequences of that? Because they're not going to set off. The TL's not going to set it off. They know how to get around it. They give people necklaces to get around it, so they wouldn't set that off. So it's going to point to someone completely unauthorized.
Yeah, they might up their defenses.
I have
Maybe.
a suspicion, and he pulls open the inside of his little vest and shows off the technically pin he uses for the brooch of natural armor. I might be able to get in without setting it off.
It's an idea. Maybe worth a test run, you think?
Yeah, it is definitely just to see. But again, we're stirring them up.
Mm-hmm.
We know anything we do is going to end up with a response. And
Correct.
I do. Sorry,
I was gonna say I would think the biggest response would be they would obviously be sending out more patrols and more speaking spells for high level casters.
Yeah, that kind of makes me second guess whether it's worth it actually. Like, I don't want them looking for me more, especially I'm not the only one here. We got Oberon and Ulfred too.
But that's what the non-detection spells that we're doing helps with.
Well, do you
Between the
not-
sanctuary, the non-detection spells.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with this type of stuff, but like, are there not ways to get beyond non-detection from really high level spellcasting?
Spellcraft check.
What check?
Spellcraft, please. 33.
I thought you said poker check. What?
Yep.
Poker
check. Poker. I hardly know her.
Poker face.
Poker face.
Poker face.
That's right. Okay. Olbrin, the Drow have a spell. You assume that surface wizards might know how to use it. It can also be used by some shamans. And actually, did Ulfred roll?
For what?
Spellcraft?
Slot bag. Roll your
I
stuff.
can do that.
Hell yeah.
I just saw the first roll. I'm like, holy shit,
America. Nice.
that was a good roll.
23 spellcraft. Ulfred tells you all the incredible story of a spell called Discern Location that he will someday have access to. Among the most powerful means of locating creatures or objects, nothing short of a mind-blank spell or the direct intervention of a deity keeps you from learning the exact location of a single individual or object. Circumvents normal means of protection from scrying your location. In case you're wondering, the nerds on the Pathfinder forums say this obviously defeats Mage's Sanctum. The spell reveals the name of the creature or object's location, place name, business name, building name, or the like, community, county, or small political division, country, continent, and the plane of existence where the target lies. To find a creature with this spell, you must have seen the creature or have some item that once belonged to it.
So nobody drop anything on these jobs.
Yeah, so I mean, they probably won't see me, but I mean, they could. It'd be hard.
Did
If I went
you
in
clean
gas,
your
they
brass,
wouldn't see me.
Blackout?
You know it. I am a mage hunter after all.
Did you clean it out of all the droids you shot it into?
Man, now you're getting really in there, aren't you?
Mhm.
No. Those no longer belong to him. They have been delivered.
Oh, they were delivered. It was a gift.
Yes.
Yep.
It would be rude to, take them back, to claim
Yes.
ownership of them after giving them.
Now the brass, get them the brass. Yes, that still belongs to you. But the bullet themselves has been delivered as a gift. You no longer have ownership of it.
Yeah, I think Nomcat is a good idea, but maybe we want to do it at a specific time, not start it now. Like if we know we're gonna assault the palace, do it closer to leading up to it. But if we're nowhere near even going to the palace yet, maybe this just draws more attention to us than we want at this point.
True.
But keep it in the back of our heads, though, that we could screw with them whenever we want.
I still want to test to see if I can cross with the pin.
Hmm. That would be cool. Oh,
Yeah, I
one
think
idea I
that's-
had. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was thinking of the trap that you're trying to set with us. It's kind of a silly idea, but just kind of mock them to let them know we know it's a trap. I can cast a move earth spell around that building and just like lower it 10 feet into the ground, and only it. And that's like the only thing we do. We just don't go there. We just like fuck with the building.
I think it's worthwhile to at least scout the building out a little bit and see what's there. They have created it with something more than just more guards, because they have to make it worth us taking the risk. And if it'd be interesting to see what they have there, and to see if it is worth the risk.
Yeah, I mean,
Like I
do we
said-
have any other leads of places to go besides this trap place?
Not yet.
So might as well check it out, I guess.
Yeah. Other than trying to figure out how to pin down what the next of the captains.
Table talk Numcath. Blackout still does not know about Cassandali.
Correct.
Yeah, okay.
He knows I have some sort of ally in the backpack. That's all he knows. Oh, it does remind me that is something else I would bring up to the general party. Mockery also made a point of mentioning that the Gearsmen are disobeying the technically more often. And it's been ramping up the last few days, or at least maybe last week or so. I'm gonna check with our knowledgeable friend to see if they think they have any ideas about that, but I'll do that later.
Alright. In the meantime, any ideas on tracking down Hirsick?
Well, I mean, he's supposed to meet us somewhere, right?
Once we have the money. Guess we could lie, but
Yeah,
Yeah.
why not?
he'll be keeping
He
an
lied to
eye on
us.
us.
You've
I
got a
mean-
good bluff skill, Numcath.
My biggest thing is, honestly, my biggest response is he's gonna have to if he wants that much money, he needs to put something forward to prove he's got something that's worth that much money.
Mhm.
We're not gonna, only an idiot would risk that much money with somebody like him on the off chance we get a piece of paper with a drawing of an upraised finger at us, you know?
Who would do that?
So what? Set it up as half up front, half later?
No. You need
What
to get
are-
word
what
to
are we
him.
talking about?
You need to get word. We need to get word to him saying if he thinks if he wants that much fucking money, he needs to give us some proof that it's worth that much money. Otherwise, it's not worth our time. And if he's that desperate to get out, he'll probably cough up some sort of proof.
I think we should just tell him we'll give him the money, and then when he comes, we beat the shit out of him until he tells us what we want.
Hell yeah.
I mean, that is the general plan, but there's a way of playing this game.
So this, we'll say 40,000 or whatever, and then beat the shit out of him. How about that?
Well, no, like I said, we gotta see. He's got to cough up some proof that whatever he's got is worth that much money.
I mean, how much is this again? Let me hold on. I gotta convert this into base 20. 1 second. You need to see her like counting on her fingers.
It's enough money to buy a small castle. All right. That's how much 50,000 gold's worth.
Okay, small castle.
Yeah. In other words, he could probably live comfortably off of it for pretty much the rest of his life.
Yeah,
He
so
was a
that's,
little bit frugal with it.
yeah, so that's dumb. I might as well. It's
It's a
absurd.
lot of money.
Could we offer something up as collateral, maybe? Just to just show, so like, quote unquote, good faith on our part.
What good faith? He betrayed us, or excuse me, he abandoned us, and now he claims he has something worth a shit ton of money? All the faith's gonna have to come from his side. And he knows it.
Can we just like scry his location? I'm not too familiar with the scrying spells, but we've all seen him. Can we just like scry him and figure out where the fuck he is and then go capture him?
I mean, Alfred, do you have that kind of spell?
I have it.
Oh, well.
I just, as a player, I don't know how scrying works.
Okay, yeah. Player, in theory, yes. It depends on whether or not he's got non-detection and other protections up.
I too have scrying.
Alright, I'm gonna try to scry him right now. Or actually, I didn't prepare it today, so in the morning.
I think it takes a couple hours to.
Oh, really?
Then you can redo it.
Oh, okay.
Do you have 7th level spells?
Yeah, I have Greater Scry.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
So maybe we could both try it if needed, but
That is something. If the two of them do it together, can you give them like a small an assist bonus for overcoming resistance?
Greater Scry just lets you. I mean, it would be higher DC, so that's good. But it just lets you do detect chaos, detect evil, detect good through your scrying or messages. You can send a message. Otherwise, it's just like regular scrying. The duration's longer. But yeah, you observe a creature at distance. They get a will save. Defeated by non-detect.
so what's locate creature? Maybe that's the one we want.
Scry will let you see around and locate creature. Can locate him if he's not using some kind of non-detection, but it only works out to, at our level, 960 feet.
Yeah.
It's pretty close to range.
I see.
Scrying would, if he makes his save, he knows you tried to scry him. That's how that works.
Well,
If
he'll
he
know
f-
somebody tried to scry him.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Not two.
If he fails, then you can see as I think Tracy, you just said it was 10 feet around him.
Yeah,
So
For like
if
14
he's
hours, right?
if he's standing next to the street sign that says Blinker and Jefferson Avenue, then you know exactly where he is. If he's not standing next to something you can recognize, then you're like, okay, he's next to a dumpster. Okay, he's talking to a prostitute. Okay, well, now he's walking into a Target. How many Targets are there in Starfall? 7. Okay. Like, it becomes a game of the greater scrying, though, as you said, you're watching him for hours. So you're like surveilling the hell out of him. And eventually you probably get some clue to where he is, unless he stays stationary the whole time. Then you're like, well, he's in a dark room.
What lowers his ability to detect
To resist
someone's-
it?
Yeah.
Scrying is affected by how familiar you are with the target. If they're on another plane, they get a big bonus. If you are familiar and know the subject well, I don't know if Krokta could claim that, but the rest of you could.
I mean, I was with him as long as everyone else was.
Were you?
Right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Didn't he
that's just
join us in the river valley or whatever?
Mhm.
Yeah.
He joined at the start of the Scar of the Spider, so
Yeah,
you
and
were
I
there.
came at the choking tower, and
That's right. So you got there right before Hearsick. So yeah, all of you could say you're familiar, which gives the subject -5 to the will save.
nice.
Connection. If you have a possession of theirs or garment,
Ooh.
if you that gives a negative. If you have a body part, that gives a negative. Like a
Do we
bit of
have any
hair, a
other
bit
stuff?
of nail.
Cut one of his horns off.
Lorena Bobbitt could scry her husband very easily.
Could anyone good at drawing pictures? Likeness or picture -2.
I mean, I can morph into him if I'm in VR, but not in real world. But if we go into the VR world, I can polymorph into
Was
my
Hearsick
impression of
ever around Cassandali? I don't think so.
No, we got Cassandra Lee after.
Okay.
Yeah.
She
Yeah, my memory
tends
of
to
him's not
just
great
soak
anyway.
up. Yeah, she tends to just soak up memories and events in a very detailed way.
Well, Blackout, you're
Uh,
relatively familiar with him. You know him familiarly or well, you say?
Well enough.
Can you draw a picture?
I'm not much of an artist, I'm afraid.
Um,
That guy you talked to had it out for him. Maybe you can draw a picture.
He does.
of shit.
He does. He does do the hit poster. So
Ooh.
yeah.
I didn't think about that.
Did
He does try.
did Hirsek ever get loot from us?
Ooh.
Maybe he swapped out something.
These
Or, like, I'm sure he
questions,
got
I don't
some
even know.
gold, but he probably spent it by now.
yeah.
I don't know if we
No,
would have
I
given
meant-
him any items.
No. Like, yeah, that's what I mean. Like items. Like if we have a possession of his, like, if he like swapped out like an amulet or something for a better one that he got from us.
No, we didn't give him upgrades.
Okay. Any bullet casings?
He had the plasma pistols, no bullet casings.
I mean, I do feel just like a general filth on myself from having been around him.
Wow.
The
don't know
the
if that
thing you're
counts.
talking about with
Hmm.
we had Cassandra Lee. Are you talking about her being able to like project an image of him or something?
From one of your memories, she could potentially do that.
Yeah, exactly. Because I can plug in. I got the data jack now. I can plug in and show her the memory. So
Remember to focus on the cape. It's very specific.
It seems like Jorg could scry the cape, just the cape alone. Locate object. He seems so focused
Yeah.
on it.
automatically buff for extended range just because of how focused he's on it.
Yeah, I do have locate object.
What's the range on that?
About the same. It's
About the
locate
same.
person, I think.
Alright, well, yeah, if you're able to get an image of him, I'll try to scry him.
I can. It would take a little bit of work in contacting our friend, but
I mean, I don't remember what he looks like, you know. Got pink monkey person, some horns, right?
That is
And
very problematic.
And a cape.
Yeah, cape, yeah. Red cape, was it? Was it red? Or
I
black?
don't see
yeah.
color. I don't know.
Are you
Okay.
you're colorblind?
I don't know. It depends. I'm a little bit, you know. Everything's different here.
No, I was
Numbers,
saying.
colors.
Oberyn says he doesn't see colors. It's like
Uh.
colorblind. Is the world black and white to you?
It's a Takala question.
Yeah.
all right. I'll just say some serious news for the group. I'm thinking about something. We all know there's one secret we've been holding on to from Blackout, giving him a chance to kind of establish himself. It's not one that we can hide forever, but I'm.
You're hitting on my
thinking-
sister. I decline.
Oh. I'm
Oberyn, you
thinking,
may-
at least
Go
as
ahead.
a show of faith, if he's willing to share a secret with us, then we'll share this secret with you, because this is a pretty big thing. And we need a little bit of trust on your side.
He's he's like Oberyn. That's why, I guess.
You guys can completely trust me.
Well, there you go.
I showed
wait,
you
did-
my real face. Come on.
Oh, everyone saw that already. My bad.
Sun smoted that shit.
And I have to take the worst roll. I have to take the worst roll, Toby.
You've got a 9 and an 11.
Okay,
So you
I
got
got
a
a 9.
Hmm. You don't feel like you could trust anybody.
Definitely can't trust Nomcath.
Well, Luna and Kroktoff are staring into your soul, Blackout.
I would advise against trusting him.
You would advise against trusting Tokala, you fucking agent of chaos.
That's fair. And,
So-
you know, he earned that. Takala did a lot of things that fucked over the party.
Yeah, but he wasn't disloyal. He was just
Yeah.
random.
He was Tokala. He was
Tokala. Yeah, he's
I mean-
free, truly free from logic, from plan, from constraints.
He had a lot of latitude. Cause you remember those boots?
Oh wow!
Can't forget about the boots.
Yeah, the boots are still having an effect on Josh and Olbrin both, I think.
Damn good boots.
Alright, what do you guys want to know?
No, don't. And Crocta's been staring at you the whole time, and she just looks at Nomcath and like, a little too intense and says, "Don't do it. Trust me,
Alright.
not a good idea."
I
And
trust
like in her head, she's just like freaked out about Cassandali, and like she's kind of addicted to the VR. She doesn't trust Blackout whatsoever, but mostly it's just about like, nah, don't fuck up my thing.
Nice.
All right then. That's the part of consensus. In that case, never mind Blackout.
Smart.
Mhm.
Yeah, do we want to? I don't know. What do we want to do? Do we want to scry here sick? Do we want to attack the trapped place? I don't know.
Scrying
I'm
here
itching
sick
for
is
some
scrying here
destruction.
sick is a good thing. We can go ahead and try that.
Alright.
Although Toby over there's just rolling some dice.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm gonna. So I guess I'll just wait. If
Blackout, you can roll a perception check.
Sorry, just looking for it. There it is. Oh, what are these rolls? Come on.
How bad is that? Wow. That's a pretty impressive roll of a 4. Goes to a 27 because of your amazing bullshit. Okay. Let's see. I'm trying to picture what you're going to hear here. You hear sort of a staticky pop and a weird whine from each of your ears. And you hear a distant sort of thumping. You think your heart is thumping, and you see the party like looking at each other, acting weird and staring you down. And then suddenly you hear strange music. None of the rest of you hear it.
I'm looking in the direction I think it's coming from.
It sounds like it's coming from inside your head.
Oh.
Those of you with a
shit.
sense motive on Blackout, he looks suddenly kind of nervous, and you see one of his hands move towards his gun.
I knew this was a goddamn mistake.
what's he?
I'm gonna reveal a roll to you guys in chat. It's a natural 1 will save for Blackout.
Oh, shit!
Okay. So I'll be watching his hand on his gun closely. And just ask, what are you doing there, Blackout?
The music
What?
gets quieter, but it's still playing, and you can hear the others again now.
Okay. It's a little loud in here.
Yeah, there's some water running noises, but that's it.
You guys don't hear that music?
And I'm
No.
past ears turn this way and that. No music.
Knowledge engineering for who was there when they put him in? Ulfred.
And me.
And you.
I had the suspicion.
he's sort of he's hearing something that you can't hear, and you think his cybernetic ears may be acting up.
Namcat just kind of chuckles a little bit. Things happen sometimes, don't they?
I mean, we did take these off of a dead, technically, Captain.
Yeah.
They're haunted with synth wave. You could do worse.
He kind of got a virus from his illicit activities with the robots.
I thought it was older and sister.
No,
Whoa.
Oh.
no.
Whoa.
I have disintegrate ready to go.
And then things took a turn.
And I keep telling you, that's overkill. I mean, you can't just target a body part with that. So it's complete overkill.
Who cares? It's my sister.
I know, exactly. That's why you want to make a statement about it.
That's
Not
why
just having to
survey is
hear.
a thing. That's a statement.
I mean, didn't Tokala get disintegrated?
Virtually.
Kind of in our dreams.
Virtually.
But Tokala had the completely real experience of disintegration through the mind meld with the evil Dominion, who, through that experience, imparted to Tokala the genuine sensation of being disintegrated. So
Everyone thinks it's a peaceful way to go, but it's actually super painful.
it's terrible. Tokala's nearly died a lot of different ways, and I think disintegration would probably be his least favorite. I don't know.
Anyways, why don't you guys start doing your meditation thing to get those scrying spells? I'm gonna go have a talk with somebody. I pick up my backpack and head deeper into the sewers.
Okay. How far up do you go?
Far enough and around a turn so I
Mhm.
can't see any lights or hear them.
Would our non-detect bore off by now, Toby?
What's that? Yeah. Yeah. You'd need to probably for a full day of activities, you guys need to burn. You get 14 hours, but you have to split it. You probably have to cast that spell 3 times a day just for the party to do everything they did today.
Okay.
If you want them under non-detect the entire time, and you really do. I'm hunting you with super wizards, so
Okay. I think I've spin it 3 times now.
you have.
Okay.
So. Okay, Namkath, you get up around the corner, blackout, you're still with the group, your ears are functioning normally again. That was weird.
Yep, gonna have to get those looked at.
So what I will do is I will, in order to keep things nice and quiet, I will get the universal adapter cord out, plug it in, and plug into Cassandra Lee, so I can talk to her quietly and still be paying attention to everything around me.
Okay.
So I plug in, and it's like kind of the first thing I send to her. You hacked his implants, didn't you?
You plug in, and the world goes black as Cassandra Lee's environment boots up in front of you. And you see her, before you can even ask your question, you see her smiling and nodding at you and dancing in her little tablet.
We're not going to be able to keep
She's got
you
an
hidden from him
evil
forever.
smile on her face.
We're not going to be able to keep you hidden from him forever. I was hoping he'd earned enough trust, but Krakta and Luna said otherwise, so we'll have to keep you hidden for a while longer.
It's out of my
I don't
She's
mind
just
you
lip
listening.
syncing. She says, "Oh, sorry. What's going on?"
Mostly I wanted to make sure you heard Mockery, what he mentioned about the, not obeying even more now. and that's happened over the last week or so. Do you think possibly Unity is reacting to your presence, especially when you took over that juggernaut?
Maybe, she says. Unity is... The Gearsman acting funny is definitely Unity acting funny. Without doubt. I don't think they know I'm here. I don't think Unity knows I exist in this form. The me that Unity knows is truly dead, and I am a different me than he knows. So he's not looking for me or expecting me to be here. If he was, he might have found me. But they are acting weird because they are more connected to the Technic League than they've ever been through the leadership of the Technic League. Probably Osman, maybe others. Because they're worried, the Gearsmen and Unity are worried.
Because of the attacks or something else, do you think?
Could be the attacks.
I know you say you're different. Is there any chance at all there might be a connection, a technical one, a mystical one between you and Unity that might still be there?
No. The
Okay.
me that was a priest of Unity's divine power is gone and dead. That connection is severed, and I would never reestablish it. I can feel and hear every time Ulfred casts a spell. I can sense some of the great nature forces that Kroktok connects to. And in his more calm moments, I could sense who Tokala was resonating with on a divine frequency, although Gorham is a very foreign entity to me. And Unity and Hellion are on a whole other frequency that I don't go near.
All right.
They won't detect me that way. But to be honest, this device that I live in, and she kind of does a little mime act on the inside of her tablet, she says, even if this were empty and I wasn't in it, they would want this more than any treasure in all of Numeria.
Because they would be able to get out in the world just like you are right now.
Because if they recovered it right now, they could destroy me and download Unity onto it, and Unity would be free to move.
Exactly. It's the biggest reason why I don't want. I'm worried about telling Blackout about you.
Well, he carries so much tech. If he tries to take me, I'll make everything he's got go active at once.
All right. Good. Keep an eye on the Gearsman stuff. See if we can figure out what's going on with it. Maybe you'll see some sort of pattern because you can kind of see them moving around. And hopefully they aren't reacting to you. I really don't. I want to keep you safe, you know?
There's some other things on the Gearsman frequency in the last day or two. Really far away, didn't make any sense. Little blips, half of a misspoken word. Very difficult to interpret. I would have told you if I could make any sense of it, but there's some other things trying to talk on the Gearsman frequency, and I don't think they're succeeding. They're just babbling.
Is it people you think, or machines?
I don't know. All I know is when you went across town yesterday, I heard it the most around the middle of town. When you got over on the west side into Killbox, I didn't hear it anymore. When you came back, I briefly heard it again around the middle of town. So it's somewhere northeast of you.
Middle of town, you mean... You don't mean the palace, you mean the north of the palace.
She shows you a map of the city from the air, which actually looks pretty amazing. because it's from Croktaw's memories. An actual map from a flying creature flying over the city. And she says, you went, and she draws your wacky roundabout path you took to Mall of Numeria, and your even wackier path to get back. And she says, I heard the weird stuff here and here. Only.
Interesting. That's another thing to check out.
And she says, the coordinates your friend gave you
Yes.
are here.
Ah, thank you.
She zooms in on the structure, and you see that there's sort of an area of the street where they've left some of the old rocks and cliff structure. It's sort of down in a recessed, not hole, but sort of dip in the terrain. And there are a number of buildings, just sort of boring barn-like. It looks like 5 or 6 small warehouses were half-assed connected to each other. It doesn't look like anything. It looks kind of trashy for this part of the city, in fact.
And yet they're doubling the guard. Not only is that place guarded, they're double the guard on it.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it feels like a trap, but maybe there's something useful in there that makes it worth springing that trap.
Maybe.
Still, letting them stew for a couple of days while we check out a few other things isn't a bad thing. Alright, thanks for the info. And, like I said, keep an eye on those gearsmen for us. Yeah.
Okay. I'll let
Thank
you know if I pick up any concentration of them.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Can I disconnect?
Well, he was plugged in. I was trying to spy on him.
Oh, yeah?
Well,
Trying.
Did you leave the group?
Nomcath.
Nomcath left the group.
Nomcath
I
left
Ask
the
me if
group.
you did.
Blackout, did you leave the group?
Oh.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I would have seen you follow him.
I'm gonna do my best to sneak away to
Okay.
go follow him.
Yeah, so
Al-
I'm gonna do a perception to see if I can see him.
You're gonna
sneak away.
have to roll a stealth check with no invis at -10, because the group is having a discussion about whether or not they trust you, and Nomcath leaves, and they know why. So this will be a very difficult stealth for you to pull off, sir.
and I'm expecting him to be trying to follow me. That's what I said. That's why I did the plug-in thing, to hope to be able to communicate with her while still being aware of my surroundings.
Said -10, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
Ooh, phew.
That's in there.
Ah,
Oh, damn.
no.
You evade Luna. Oh, the -10 is in there?
It's in there.
Okay. That'll be a perception check for Olbrin and who hasn't rolled? I don't know if any of you can make this. Not with a 7, Josh.
Ah.
Did Olfred roll? He might be AFK. If he's here, you can roll 2.
Yeah, I'm here.
Get him. Let's see what you got.
He did
Oh
it.
my god! Olfred,
You're so
you
lucky.
notice Blackout trying to slink away after
You know what-
Nomcath.
You know what Olbrin just needs to do, or Ulfred needs to do, is, he's just sitting there and Blackout's sneaking away, and all of a sudden that big shield of his just clang down in front of him,
I was thinking wall of stone or whatever, or the wall of metal.
Wall
that
of
he
iron,
does.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's permanent.
What is your response to this behavior, Wolfred? No one else seems
Oi.
to notice.
Oi, boy, where do you think you're going now?
Oh, thought I'd take a shit at the canal.
Do I hear him say that?
Yeah, Ulfred stops him. Ulfred blows.
Oh god,
the-
I can't even. We can't
oh
even
my
fail that.
god! Blackout with an 8 bluff check.
Yeah.
You sure you're not rolling d6? Holy crap! Yeah, they're not buying it. The damn hyper-perceptive dwarf spotted you and gave it away. Otherwise, you think you would have got away with it.
Well, you'd be going in the wrong direction. It's over there, boyo.
want to go downstream,
Yeah, poop
not
downstream.
upstream.
I wanted to
Filth.
watch it. Wanted to watch it float down. Never mind.
What's wrong with you? I mean, if you
Says the
must, I'll
creature
just
that
alter
eats
the
deer shit.
direction.
Oh, did you want me to? Never mind. This is.
I mean, if you season it,
did you want me
totally
to
different story.
leave this somewhere for you?
Oh, God.
I mean, if you've been eating a fine diet of like forestry shrubs and green grass or whatever, like a deer, and then we season it just the right way,
Bruh.
maybe. But I
The
think I saw
finest
you
slot
eating it in
bag.
the slot bag. Yeah. So no thanks.
What's your D&D campaign about? It's basically about food, drugs, and eating shit.
Literally.
Hey, I didn't. That was not me clicking that.
Delicious deer shit. All right, well, they notice you trying to slink away, and you thought they were going to be really suspicious and almost aggressive towards you for trying it, but then the I wanted to see the poop float downstream story so disgusted them. They became somewhat distracted by how vile that excuse was. So there you are.
Yeah, I never trained in that kind of spy work. Mostly, I just try not to get spotted, but
You would have done it if they weren't all watching you like a hawk anyway, and the dwarf wasn't ridiculously perspective. You're kind of surprised. You think you could have got past the druid, which surprises you. She's very perceptive. Anyway, a couple minutes later, Nomcath returns to the group.
All right. So, Contact is very sure that what's going on with the Gearsmen acting weird doesn't have anything to do with them. They did notice that there's some interesting signals coming from different houses that or buildings that I crossed on the way to and from the mockery. It might be something interesting to check out. They were also able to give me a little bit of a view of the where we suspect that trap is. It looks like a bunch of warehouses kind of linked together in a weird way. It's very low rent for the area, so the fact that it's guarded in the first place is suspicious, let alone that they're doubling the guard there. I say we do the scrying first. If we can get our hands on Hirsig, that's a good enough goal for the moment. Then I'd be curious to check out these other signals that came across to see what's going on with that. Letting that one area sit for a few days, let it stew a little bit, probably isn't a bad idea if it is a trap.
Okay.
Has it been long enough for us to have scrying prepared, Toby?
You wanna? Yeah, you could have meditated for an hour or two to switch it.
Okay.
So.
I'm gonna scry here sick right now then.
Okay. So.
I mean, is it late in the day right now, or is it the morning?
It is evening. You guys have spent the day spying.
Okay, also, does it make sense to rest first and then do this in the morning? Because this thing lasts me 14 hours. I'm gonna not sleep if I continually monitor him.
If he goes to sleep, then you can go to sleep yourself.
Yeah, it seems like kind of a waste just to watch him sleep. I should do it in the morning, right?
I mean, I figure it's about 6 o'clock in the evening right now, probably.
Yeah, but if I do it in the morning, I'll get a whole day of seeing everywhere he goes.
Yeah, that's true. We can wait till tomorrow.
Yeah, so I'll save it. Unless we planned to go to that other thing tomorrow, but yeah. Otherwise,
We don't have a tight time scale right now. Letting things sit for a few days is actually probably a good thing.
Fine by me.
So resting or doing it now?
Resting.
Resting.
Okay. We will rest the whole party here. Night passes peacefully in the secret sewer sanctum, wonderful as it is.
Okay. Yeah, and then this early in the morning, I'll just wake up and try to scry Hirsig.
Okay. So we have the bonus for knowing the subject. You're familiar, so he gets -5. We don't have anything that belongs to him.
No.
Okay. So his will save is -5.
Did you say if they did it together that would increase the DC, or did I misremember that?
I was trying to game the system a little bit to see if we can get an assist bonus if both of them were doing it.
Okay, sorry.
But if he was looking at a picture of Hirsig, that might help.
Yeah, but I don't want to take out Cassandra in front of Blackout.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Can't risk your secret
No.
VR obsession.
Not worth it.
World of Kasathcraft, the Burning Crusade is just about to come out in Cass's VR world. Whole new content patch. So okay, let's see how we do. You have a DC, essentially a DC of 27.
Pretty good.
Good lord. Alright, I don't think he has any... Nope, that don't matter, that don't matter.
I'd have to roll an 18 plus to beat that for myself.
Very difficult. Okay. Then... Oh, I see, that's why. Haven't looked at Hirsig in forever. I'm gonna correct some dumb stuff that's on his sheet. Alright. Let me do this, and then let me do this. What time in the morning did you cast this?
What time's the party normally? I don't know, 6 a.m. That's what I would do.
Okay. 6 a.m. you scry, and you are given a vision of a huge king-sized bed covered in silk sheets, half a dozen big white fluffy ruffle-edged pillows, sort of a four-post stand around the bed with curtains drawn, and the sunlight just barely peeking in from the east. You are looking at Hirsig sleeping in a giant luxurious bed.
Can I talk to other people while I'm scrying, or am I like in VR world effectively?
No, you can talk to the people around you, I think. As far as I know, let's
Yeah, you're literally looking through a mirror.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, yeah, so I'll just tell everyone, yeah, I got him, he's asleep. If other people are awake yet.
I'm awake, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I
Luna's
got
probably
Hirsig.
passed out in a corner, in probably one of those, nice little chairs that we have, all bundled, rolled up like a burrito in her cloak.
You know, Luna, we got bedrolls.
No, her cloak actually functions as a bedroll.
But they don't know that, so it just looks like you're being a little pitiful wilderness child.
Yeah, Crocodile to
I'd
share
be
what she
awake, I
saw
think.
with the party. Yeah, he's in a nice place, luxurious bed, sleeping right now. But I'll keep watching him. I'll let you guys know once he starts moving.
Probably be a while. Do we want to go out and look at some other things while Crocodile's doing this, or we just want to wait here?
No need for everyone to stay here. Can I go out? I'm not sure I would, but can I go about my day too, and like just every once in a while check in on the mirror, like, or do I have to maintain it?
I think you have to stick with the mirror if you're going to be scrying for that long.
Generally, I think that too. I'm just checking the spell to see if it says anything. Yeah, I think if you drop it to do other things, you've dropped it.
Okay.
But it does last an hour per level.
14
And you
hours.
did greater scrying, so you could also cast, if you wish, detect alignment spells, message, read magic, or tongues.
Yeah, I don't think any of those would be valuable to me, right?
Yeah.
We definitely don't want to do
I
message.
know he's evil.
And we don't want to do message and let him know that we know about him. We want this secret.
Yeah.
The only thing that might be useful is tongues, in case he starts talking with somebody in a language you don't know.
Yeah, I don't. Is tongues a druid spell though?
Wizard sorcerer. And maybe bard.
Yeah, so I can't do that anyway.
Okay, 9 a.m. You've been staring at him sleeping for an hour.
The cleric spell as well.
Yeah, maybe Wilfred would have been a better choice, but
All good.
anyway, yeah. So I'm just gonna like get in a comfy position and. Does anyone have some like snacks? Looks like I might be here for a while.
Have some coffee.
I was gonna go make a run and hit some of those food carts.
We got those steaks.
That's true.
Oh, the steaks. They're wrapped in special preservation paper. They're fresh as the day they were cut.
I'm also gonna. So I'll have the coffee and then some drum nugget as well.
Okay.
So in other words, you're
Okay.
gonna drink a stimulant and then take a depressant.
Yeah. I'm calming my nerves, but I'm also paranoid too. So I think that's
10
good for while I'm watching them.
10 a.m. You've watched him sleep for an hour. 11 a.m. You've watched him sleep for actually 3 hours now. At noon, you see him
think he's
very, very slightly stir in the sheets, and you hear, and then he sleeps for another hour.
I guess I should have guessed. This guy is not a morning person, huh?
It is now 1 in the afternoon, and you can make a perception check.
All right.
You see him momentarily sit up, squint at the sunlight pouring in the various blinds in the room, which he promptly steps over and throws the blinds shut. He then stands there in his underwear, scratching himself in all his least mentionable places, and you see him light up a jug nugget, just as you just did.
Yeah. I'm all out.
And you see he has a bowl by his bedside of deer shit.
Smart man.
And
What
then
the fuck?
he goes back to bed.
If anyone's in the cave with me, the underground thing with me, I'd be yelling, be like, "Oh, you guys are missing it. He's eating deer shit."
I don't believe you.
No, definitely. He just ate a huge bowl of it and then went back to sleep.
On his bedstand, you are able to observe several doses of Jung Nugget, still in their nice little wrappers, from Scar the Spider. You're sure it is Jung Nugget from Scar the Spider. And deer shit. And you even see a strange little jar full of pink paste sitting on the bedstand next to a pipe bomb. Anybody know what the pink paste is?
Soothe.
Soothe.
It's the good stuff.
That's right. And he sleeps until 1 o'clock. You've now watched him for 5 hours. 2 o'clock. He gets up and lights another Jung Nugget. And in the light, you see that he is wearing just sort of like a banana hammock type thong of bright red silk. And hanging off of his underwear, there's something jingling. Some little silver shape. And eventually you catch it. He has a technically captain's badge hanging off of his underwear.
He's a captain. What the fuck?
Not necessarily. He just has one.
That's her interpretation.
Always
She's
jumping
gonna
to
yell.
wrong conclusions.
Yeah, she's gonna yell to people, "Oh my god, guys, you'll never believe it. I don't know who's in the cave still."
I'm still here with you.
Yeah, but he's technically captain. I just saw it.
No, he
What do you-
definitely is not.
Oh, he has a badge on
No?
his
I've got a
private
badge.
clothing.
So I've got a collection of badges myself. He probably
You got a
stole it
captain
off
badge?
somebody. My captain's badge, but
Wow.
I've got a Technic League badge. I've got the guard badge. I've even got a pass to carry technology badge. Remember, we got all that stuff.
Yeah, I guess.
Are the captain's badges unique to the captain that they belong to?
All of the badges are technically unique.
Describe what it looks like, Croctop.
Yeah.
Maybe we can figure out who that actually belongs to.
Can I do a perception check on that?
It is a captain's badge, and you would, in order to identify whose it is, you would have to look at this sort of weird little barcode-like thing on the back of it, and then you would have to have access to the Technic League data to identify who it's assigned to. It doesn't have like a name or a picture on it.
Like a sigil or something?
Yeah, so it's just literally a barcode. That's what it is. They are the Technic League, and they're using that technology to make every badge technically unique for purposes of location spells, so they can find their people. It's how they
So-
knew to send Hirsick to Scar the Spider and not anywhere else.
Is Blackout smart enough to know that? Because Crocta definitely wouldn't be. So if he does
Yes,
after that, she would just
Blackout
start
does.
describing it.
Blackout does know that system and how it works. And Nomcath's theory about the Technic League badges getting you past the alarm bubble makes sense to Blackout.
Okay. Well, yeah. So he's just. Is he back in bed now, or is he still walking around?
He farts around for the next hour. About 3 in the afternoon, he puts his pants on.
He's
And
dressed.
then
And then goes back to bed.
No cape. Yeah. This guy is taking a lot of drugs and not leaving a dim room. I mean, do you really think he has information? He seems kind of like a nobody to me.
Seems a little depressed.
He's farting like nonstop. Like, and I mean, he did eat a lot of deer shit, like 5 bowls, so that
He may-
could happen.
He may been eating at the slot bag. That might be.
Well,
Did they do
maybe.
delivery?
You see there is a pile of food delivery
Slot bag.
boxes next to the bed.
Hmm.
And you see that the room is pretty dark now that he's pulled the blinds. He does kind of look out the different sides. There's 2 windows out of the room. He looks out of each of them for a bit. You see him pull on a shirt, waste another 20 minutes, put on some holsters, put a pistol on one hip. He's got another holster that hides a pistol in the small of his back. He's got another holster that hides a third pistol under his other arm. He puts on a jacket and armor, just very slowly gets going. He steps over to the side of the room where you see a comm set plugged in with the universal cable to a little bank of batteries. And he checks the comm set. You see him click through a bunch of different buttons on it, listen to it carefully. And
Cape?
what's that?
Is he wearing a cape?
There is a huge, long red cape on the back of the chair next to the comm set, which he has not put on yet.
So no cape yet. He's got everything else on. Really fascinating scrying activity I've been doing here for fucking how many hours?
You see what numbers are on the comm set.
I mean,
That would be
can
an
you remind me? Can you give me a
extremely
guide of
difficult
your numbers?
perception
numbers
check.
again?
That would be a very difficult perception check, and then a knowledge engineering check for Krokta. But you can
Yeah,
try it.
I want to have a penalty on that because I don't
Here's the-
understand your number system.
Here's a dumb question. I think we can all see this, right?
Well, no, Krokta can. If you would all get in VR and wire into Cassandra, you could all see it.
Yeah, guys, let's all wire into Cassandra.
She could live sync the experience that Krokta's having to everyone. Wouldn't that be fun?
So we just gotta find a way to knock out Blackout for a little while.
Just put him in VR.
I can give him some of my poutine.
Ooh. That'll occupy him. He'll be very awake, but busy.
Maybe someone can send him out on a secret mission. Top importance.
Okay, let's see. Let's remember this. We're going to quit here in a second. So let's remember we are 3 p.m. We have been scrying here sick since 6 a.m. 6 a.m.? 7 a.m.?
6.
I said 6 a.m. Yeah.
Okay, so we
I
have a
regret
solid
that
9
decision,
hours of here sick scrying. He has not left what appears to be a lavish room.
How many
You've been
lavish
fucking
rooms are
around
there
the
in
lot.
here?
He's done a lot of drugs, and he does seem very gassy, which is suspicious to Krokta until she remembers her party mates after eating at the slot bag.
Yep. He is dressed though, so he should be leaving soon.
Yeah?
The suspense is killing me. Like, where will Hirsick go?
Oh my
Perhaps
god.
to the lobby? Perhaps to the bathroom.
Okay, he opens the door to the room with a hand on one pistol. He opens the door absolutely silently. You notice that when he finally puts his cape on and steps close to the door, he makes no sound with his feet, his hands. His weapon holsters make no clicks or scrapes or scuffs. It's like all sound dies, and you can hear nearby sounds of the street, people talking, carts rolling by, the sounds of the city. And as he opens the door, he turns his ear to it and he listens for a good long 20 or 30 seconds. And he doesn't seem to hear anything, and he opens the door a little further, and you can see some strange discarded boards with nails through it and some markings on them, some sort of ribbons that have been torn aside, and he takes a couple steps down a staircase, and you see more of these ribbons. They're facing away from you, but they say something on them. And he steps past them into a lower sort of foyer part of what seems to be a house. And you see that the lower floor on the inside, there is shattered furniture. There is a huge and very old blood stain in the center of the room. All the windows are shuttered and boarded up on this level, and the main front door has more of that ribbon on it. And you can see the ribbon. It basically says the Starfall equivalent of police line, do not cross.
Yeah, I'll tell the group.
He's staying in a condemned house. Something that, it's under investigation.
Yeah, isn't that like half the city is condemned though? From what I've seen, it's all falling apart, right?
Of the, Killbox side, yes, but this is fancier quarters.
Yeah,
That narrows
sure.
it
It does
down.
have a fancy bed.
I think that narrows it down quite a lot.
Can we get an idea of where he is by the buildings around?
I haven't got to see him yet, and we're gonna quit
Oh.
there, but maybe. Croctop will be able to see a 10-foot area around him at most with the scrying. And as he moves, her view trails him by like 100 or 150 feet. But she'll get sort of a perception check. It might turn into a survival check with a big negative to try and figure out where he is. If she sees any kind of landmark that she recognizes. And she's flown over the city at high altitude a lot, but she does not have what I would call a well-developed knowledge local skill. Knowledge local would be the best skill to figure out where he is in Starfall with scrying.
So here's the question: did she ever make that perception check, figure what channel he was on?
Nah, she wouldn't have thought of that. I mean,
Yeah,
if you
she's
guys
not
would've-
very technology oriented.
Well, Namcath had asked her if she could see the numbers.
That's true. You could try it if you want, Crocta.
I can try, but yeah, I was gonna say like she should get. I mean, my knowledge engineering is 0, but
Yep.
and I also feel like I should have a penalty to it because I really don't give a shit about any of it.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
It's numbers. And what was the other one? A perception check?
Yep.
Yeah, Namcath, she gives you some coordinates that don't make sense. You think she misread it completely.
Alright.
Now, if you sync up the whole party, then everyone can see, and you can use all the party's skills on the scrying.
Yeah, but unfortunately we got blackout, so.
Come on, guys.
Oh.
Just let me in.
This is a tangled web we've woven here, guys.
I mean, if we need to, we can always back him out.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Certainly try.
Luda probably could.
In Pathfinder 1 mechanics, that would be a lot of smacking him on the head. That would be so much bludgeoning.
Just hold still.
Just hold still for 180 non-lethal damage.
I could cast a disease on him, give him blinding fever or whatever,
Always with the diseases.
and then we put him in the VR.
What is the druid class really about? Well, it's mostly about spreading disease. It's kind of what it does.
I mean,
It's like a 17th century sailor. It's really...
Oh wait, actually, I have sunbeam. I can just blind him with that. I don't know how long it lasts, so.
That's a lot of damage too, though, right?
Oh.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's true.
Silver lining.
Hey, look at this one I got in my hands here.
Oh, it's only a round per level blinding. It's never mind, not worth it.
And
See,
like I
it's like-
said, I still have poutine.
So what's your poutine do?
Diarrhea.
Is that
at
from the
Locks
Sawback?
you- It locks you into bathroom proximity for many hours.
And that's when it was fresh, let alone now
Oh.
what, 5 or 6 days old.
Yeah, this is leftover poutine.
Yeah, you can try it. Not a bad idea.
Assuming
makes the
we
board
can
safe.
convince him to eat it. Here, let's try some old cold poutine.
All right.
Literally
Well,
just lump of congealed fat.
good spy session. Lots of information gathered. Lots of lovely arguments had. And nobody trusts Blackout, so I win. Good times.
God.
Yep. Catch you guys next week.
All right. Sounds
See
good.
you guys.
See you guys.
Later.
Later. See you next week.
It's out of my hand, but I'm still